Hotel unicorn Oyo to reverse employee pay cuts in phases. Salaries of employees with fixed compensation up to 8 lakhs rupees per annum will be reinstated from August. This makes up 60% of employee base across India and South Asia. Mentor-guided online learning platform Springboard raises $31 million in a Series B round of funding led by Telstra Ventures, saw participation from Vulcan Capital and SJF Ventures, and other existing investors also participated in this round. Video analytics platform WooBot raises $2.5 million in a pre-Series A round from Sequoia Capital India. WooBot to use funds for global expansion and in strengthening its proprietary technology platform. Uber CEO Dara Khosrowshahi allows employees to work from home through June 2021. The ride-sharing company now joins Google in extending its remote work timeline through next June. Apple is not interested in acquiring short video platform TikTok, according to a statement given to The Verge. Statement comes in after Access report that named a company as a potential buyer for the embattled social network TikTok. Serialized fiction app Radish raises $63.2 million in a Series A round of funding from SoftBank Venture Asia and Kakao Page. Company provides bite-sized stories for reading via your smartphone. Tech hardware company HP starts manufacturing operations at a new facility near Chennai. This expansion is a part of HP's long-term commitment to the India market, and this plant will manufacture desktops and workstations.
Those were the headlines we were tracking for you. Springboard, a mentor-guided online learning platform that promises to prepare people for in-demand careers, has raised $31 million in Series B funding. This brings the venture's total capital raise to more than $50 million. The Series B round was led by new investor Telstra Ventures, with participation from Vulcan Capital, SJF Ventures, as well as existing investors. To know what's in store at this San Francisco-based EdTech venture, joining me now is Parul Gupta, co-founder of Springboard. Parul, many thanks for joining us here today. Now, first up, what do you plan to do with the $31 million raised? Take me through the allocation of funds.
As far as allocation of funds goes, there are two main focus areas. One is to invest in systems to provide even more support for our students during their job search. And then the second one is growth. We believe that we've proven our model in tech skills, but really the demand that we serve is pretty universal and pretty global, that applies to all working professionals. So we want to be able to serve more students in our existing programs, launch new programs in other job families, as well as expand internationally and through partnerships with employers and universities.
So Parul, as you mentioned, you're looking at launching new products. Take me through some of those innovative tools that you're building that will further support job-seeking graduates.
So just two examples of the tools we are building, and this is very much built with technology at its core. So one of them is what we call the hireability forecaster. So students go through Springboard programs over a period of 6 to 9 months, and because this entire learning journey is online, we measure a lot of markers about their engagement with the course, their interactions with the mentor, as well as their engagement in the job search. So we use all of these tools to build a model to predict whether the student will do well in the job search or if they will struggle. And if they will struggle, what might their challenges be? And that enables us in providing them extra support in those areas. Another example, also similarly built on the core of technology, is what we call a job fit score. So we look at students' resumes and backgrounds, what industry experience and educational background they come with, and correspondingly, on the other side, what jobs might require. A standard JD will list out what they're looking for in an ideal candidate in terms of skills as well as background. And then we use these two sides to match our students with the best job for them out there.
So take me through the Springboard learning model. You're big on mentoring. Is that your USP? Tell me what differentiates Springboard from the other EdTech players.
Mentoring is absolutely our biggest USP, and this is also what is missing from the world of online learning. A lot of the players today claim that they have mentoring, but it's really very sort of sparse, and you might talk to a mentor once in your entire learning journey. But at Springboard, every single student is paired with an industry practitioner as their one-on-one mentor. And these people are like, for a data science course, it would be data scientists at Facebook, at Amazon, at LinkedIn or Google, who have actually walked the journey and who do this job day to day. So they are able to provide a lot of really deep feedback about what skills are important, as well as feedback on students' projects.
Parul, you also claim that 94% of your eligible graduates secure a job within a year, earning an average salary increase of $26,000. How do you ensure that?
Yeah, there are many elements that go into it, Shruti. And like I mentioned, mentoring is one part of it, but it really, the biggest piece is working with the employers to understand what they're looking for in an ideal candidate, what skills, what backgrounds, and designing a program backwards from there. So we have a very intensive research process where we speak to employers and then design the curriculum as well as the admission criteria based on their needs. And then as students are going through the program, they work on a lot of projects, and that is what gives them the experience that hiring managers are looking for. And then that makes our students ready to hit the ground running when they get hired.
We're in the middle of the largest global labor market shift in over a century as millions of displaced workers look to make the difficult transition into new in-demand careers. How can Springboard help people navigate today's new economic reality?
We feel as we've tracked the progression of the pandemic, so many industries have been decimated, so many job families have ceased to exist, and all these displaced workers now need to find new means of livelihood. At the same time, COVID has accelerated digital transformation. Just like in education, a lot of the ground-based programs are moving online. So there is a big need for skills, and we feel that we can take the workers that have been displaced because of job cuts in their industries, learn these new skills, and find a home in industries that are still continuing to grow.
Now, the education sector is facing a tectonic shift as enterprises seek more and better talent with digital skill sets. The technology training market is set to explode. What is the potential you see for the venture going forward, especially in India?
Yeah, we're really bullish about India. And India is one of the largest knowledge economies of the world. So NASSCOM has this report which said over half of our IT professionals will need to upskill or reskill over the next 5 years. So that's a really large population of millions of users. So we believe we can be their lifelong learning partners and help them advance in their careers throughout their working lives.
So Parul, take me through the revenue model, the different subscription plans you've devised.
Yeah, we offer multiple payment options which are really tied to the student's success and outcomes. Not all of them are available in India today, but I'll describe what we offer in the US and then can talk about what we are introducing in India. So we believe that each individual learns uniquely, and some might go faster, some might need more time to learn the same set of skills. So we offer this monthly subscription option where students can pay for whatever months they need to finish the course. We also have discounted upfront options, and most importantly, we have a money-back guarantee and a deferred payment option, which basically says that you don't have to pay any fee if you don't find a job, or if we are unable to help you be successful, then we are not successful. So in India, we have introduced the discounted upfront model as well as financing, easy EMIs with our financing partners. We are also working on making the other options available.
Parul, you also have a mission to transform over 1 million lives by 2030. How do you plan to achieve that, and how much would India contribute to this target?
The 1 million lives goal is really a big, hairy, audacious goal that energizes all of us in the company. And I would be honest, I don't have every single step for the next 10 years, which will get there. But we do have vignettes and we do have ideas and big engines of growth. So on that, for us, it's really about serving more students in our current programs, launching new programs in new job families, expanding internationally. India is just the first geography outside of the US where we are headquartered. And our goal is really to figure out what product adaptations we need to do for meeting the learners' needs in India and use that as a playbook to expand globally. And then finally, there is the corporate training and partnering with companies is also on our roadmap.
Right. All right, Parul, thank you so much for joining us on Startup Street. And that was our Startup Street funding alert for the day. Moving on, hospitality unicorn and SoftBank-backed Oyo will be reinstating salaries for all its employees in a phased manner. During an internal town hall, the company announced plans to restore full salaries of all employees in India and South Asia with a fixed compensation of up to 8 lakh rupees, which will come into effect from the 1st of August 2020. All other employees will see a phased reversal in their pay cuts, where 12.5% of their total 25% cut will be restored from October 2020, and the remaining 12.5% pay cut will be restored from December 2020. Joining me right now to make sense of this move and the talk about the timing of it is Rohit Kapoor, CEO of Oyo India and South Asia. Rohit, thank you so much for being with us on Startup Street. And let me start by talking to you about the fact that the economy is still recovering. The hospitality sector is still hurting. Hotels are still grappling with financial constraints. Footfall is still very low for the sector. How is Oyo managing to pull this off?
So I just want to take you back a little bit into the timing when the decision was taken and the rationale. So for you to fully understand the decisions we had taken with respect to the salary rollback. We took this decision late March, announced it early April, when the lockdown was announced in India for about 2 weeks. And at that point, there was no clarity on how long this was going to really last. But the initial view was 2 weeks, maybe 1 month. And what happened was, and I'm very thankful to all my colleagues who voluntarily took a 25% pay cut, right, to support the company and the cash flows during that time. The lockdown got extended to about roughly 3 months, and the hotels were finally allowed to open on June 8th, which is approximately 2 months back. Right now, the salary cuts are always meant to be a temporary measure. And what we had done, just to remind you, is that we had, in lieu of the salary cuts, anyway allocated RSUs or ESOPs at discounted rates to all the entire employee base who were taking pay cuts sometime last month. So that coverage was done. Now, as the economy started opening up, there is, of course, we are way off from pre-COVID levels, but there's some level of business which has started flowing in. I think in true spirit of the partnership that the employer had demonstrated, we are also reinstating the salary back for all employees whose salary is up to 8 lakhs, which is roughly 60% of the company. And then going forward, as we expect the to ramp up, we reinstate the balance.
True. I like the fact that you said that salary cuts are always temporary measure. I hope the entire ecosystem is listening to that. But let me talk about the timing of this, because just yesterday, Hurun Global Unicorn Report 2020 said that Oyo is currently valued at $8 billion, as opposed to the last known valuation of the company, which was $10 billion when Ritesh pumped in $2 billion into the company. That was last year. Reports also are suggesting that you are cutting costs in your Japan market by merging hotels and rental apartment businesses. So, talk to me about why now, and does this make business sense for you guys from a global market point of view?
Look, this is a decision which is taken for the India and South Asia employees. And the why now has a very simple reason behind it. We had committed to our employees that on 31st of July, we will come back on salary reinstatement. We've just lived up to what we had committed. That's all. It's as simple as that. Nothing more complicated.
Okay, well, you have made some promises to your furloughed employees as well. What happens to that? There is no update on the end date for the furlough for now. Also, are these, salary rollouts, is this applicable to your furloughed employees as well? Can you share some update on that?
So on the people who are on leave with limited benefits, we have not announced yet. And I think we will decide on the path forward on all our colleagues who are on leave with limited benefits by sometime this month, maybe towards the end of the month, is when we plan to roll out the path forward for those employees. I think, look, these are difficult decisions, right? All of them, whether it is a salary cut or the salary reversal at this point in time. And there is absolutely no right answer or perfect answer. But there is always, I believe in these times, companies need to, companies, and especially we believe it as a company, that we need to keep doing the right thing, even if they're in small measures. till the world comes back to a normal place. So, for example, we have not done the full salary rollback. Right?
Is
We have done it only
correct. I'm asking you for an end date for your furloughed employees because that number goes in thousands. So for all the OYO employees who have been on furlough since March, what is the update for them?
I think, as I said, the update will be sometime in this month, towards the end of this month. We have not taken a final decision on what's the path forward on the furloughed.
Okay, we will check in with you at the end of the month to follow up on that, Rohit. Let me also talk to you about the fact that the last time I caught up with you, OYO had decided to offer all its employees, including the furloughed employees, deeply discounted ESOPs. But that program was subject to requisite board approval, which OYO had hoped to obtain in a few weeks. So we are talking to you in a few weeks. What's the update on that?
That is done. I think even if any minor approval is pending, that's more procedural than anything substantive. So you can take that as a confirmed move from the company. So
confirmed move from the company that all employees, including the furloughed employees, would be eligible for these deeply discounted ESOPs.
That's correct. I'm confirming that.
Okay, all right, Rohit, thank you so much for sharing those details with us. And of course, this is good news for the ecosystem. However, we're still trying to make sense of how this is going to financially impact OYO's overall business. But as Rohit said, that there are a lot more updates coming in from OYO, and we will be bringing you those details on Startup Street. With that, it's time for a quick break. But up next, how has COVID-19 pandemic affected the residential rent space? Well, we find out on the other side. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're still with us on Startup Street. Now, the lockdown due to coronavirus pandemic saw almost the entire workforce stay at home, which saw a whole new trend. The home rental market has now tilted in the favor of tenants due to reverse migration. That's the word coming in from one of India's largest rental network platform, Nestaway. In a conversation with my colleague Alisha Sachdev, Nestaway's CEO Amrendra Sahu discusses the pandemic's impact on this rental residential market and what it means for owners, tenants, and of course for Nestaway's business. Listen in.
Amrendra, appreciate you joining us at CNBC TV 18. Let me begin by asking you, with a lot of young professionals headed back home as work from home becomes popular, what kind of renegotiations are you seeing take place between owners and tenants? Essentially, what has the impact of the pandemic been on the residential rental space, and what kind of corrections are you seeing at the moment?
The trend that we are seeing in the market is that customers are actually indeed going back homes. But at the same time, what we are also seeing starting July, so that was the trend in April and May, there was complete lockdown nationwide. So even if people wanted to move, their mobility was restricted at airports because of containment zones, because of quarantine centers. What we are seeing is that people wanted to go and see their near and dear ones, in this stressful time. So people are indeed going. But at the same time, people are actually not vacating their homes. While the migration is happening, they're not leaving their homes and they're paying rent from while being there at their hometown. I guess what you have to understand is that being in cities is an economic imperative, because in these times of uncertainties, people are scared about losing jobs. And if at all someone loses the job, his best shot at finding another one is when he's in the cities. So I guess while people want to be their homes, this entire economic uncertainties, even if people can work from home, they're not sure as to how long this entire thing is going to work. So to improve their chances, people would want to be closer to places where they could maybe go and attend an interview, maybe go do something else. So I don't think it's going to create a permanent shift of people from cities back to home, tier 2 cities and hometowns. I guess India is still pretty much top 10 cities phenomena as far as jobs are concerned. So yeah, we see a temporary people going back to home, but I guess you would see that coming back soon. The other question that you asked were around rental corrections. I guess, look, there's no clarity around it. Everybody's second guessing. Owners think houses are going to be empty longer. Tenant thinks, maybe there'll be further pay cuts in the market. So I guess there's no clear trend as such, these 20-30% corrections. But that, to me, that's more symptomatic of the uncertainties than any permanent correction in the market. So I guess as and when the market improves, things would start falling back.
Amar, for Nestaway, June, July are essentially your peak business months. This is when you see a lot of new movements happen as people join new jobs, promotions take place. But considering that a lot of new hiring has been frozen at the moment and people are being onboarded online, how has that translated for your business in terms of the new movements that you've seen?
Well, today it's 1/3 of what our peaks are usually. So we are down by 60% in terms of new bookings. Alisha, here are things, right? As I said, people do not change homes for when the jobs change. Right? Like living in a city is aspiration for a lot of people in general, and because it's linked to jobs, career progressions, and educations, and better life and all that stuff. So I am not worried about not the jobs not opening, because I guess what we are seeing is that even if there are no jobs, people have to now prepare harder to get those jobs, right? So what is happening is this entire scaremongering in the heads of people that what's going to happen, nobody knows, right? Everywhere you see scary numbers, in Bangalore, in Bombay, in Delhi. So I guess what's happened in Italy, right? People have forgotten it totally. You remember in March, April, every single day in Indian media and Indian newspapers, you would know how scary it is in Italy. Every single day, right? Today you don't even hear about them. So I guess the fear in our head is pretty much what is fed to us through various channels. And I guess in 3 months we will find something more obsessive. Maybe US elections, maybe something else. Become a little more routine, and then people would start making a move. Because my bet is the entire economy is running on young people. And there would be enough data that these guys are relatively safe.
Amar, in terms of the absolute numbers that Nestaway done, with a half of the year already gone, what have your numbers been in terms of new movements, in terms of the business that you generally see in this time, and what you saw because of COVID this time around?
So March, it was half, because half of the other city was locked down. April was a complete washout, 0. May was I think 10%. Of the last year, May, and June came back to 20%. July was 30%, again back to 20% of lockdown for a week in Bangalore. So I guess we are going from lockdown to lockdown in terms of how it's going to fare. So if you look at all the rental websites and real estate portals, the traffic on their sites are back to pre-COVID levels in general. What remains to be seen is that would that translate into real transaction closures when lockdown lifts. So I guess the top of the funnel is back to 70-80% levels pre-COVID. I think the transaction closure is a function of lockdown. And I think if our maximum business happens on Saturdays and Sundays. And across cities, at Sundays a complete lockdown. So I guess 50% of our business is off just through that. So we usually see close to about July, a good 8,000 to 10,000 bookings in a month. We are seeing close to about 2,000 odd now in the month of July. So I guess that's where we are. And again, just to highlight, Bombay and Pune are shut, Delhi is shut, Bangalore and Hyderabad are the saviors. And Bangalore was sort of going through its own tailspin stories few days back, and I guess we have no visibility into August, what government of India is going to do, what state governments are going to do. So we are taking it by the day.
Well, Amar, thank you so much for sharing those insights with us for Startup Street.
Well, operating in times of absolute confidence and ambiguity is the story of every startup entrepreneur's life at this point. With that, it's a wrap on this edition of Startup Street. More news and updates coming up with you on the other side. Stay tuned.